What if the child from the stars wasn't sent here to save us, but to destroy us? The movie begins with Tori and Kyle Breyer, a young couple desperate to have a baby. Their home is lined with fertility books, a quiet reminder of endless failed attempts. But one night, as they try once again to create the family they long for, the ground shudders violently. A glowing object streaks across the sky and crashes in the woods near their farm. They rush outside and there it is, the miracle they never expected, a baby from the stars. They name him Brandon. Through a series of warm home videos, we watch Brandon grow from a baby into a curious child. He plays hide and seek with Tori, answers questions at school, and catches the eye of a kind classmate named Caitlin. For years, he seems like any ordinary boy, but deep inside, something dark is waiting to awaken. One night, Tori is painting in her studio when she notices Brandon sleepwalking. His body drifts down toward the basement, to the very place where the strange object, the meteor that brought him here, has been hidden away. Brandon chants in a guttural, alien voice, as if calling to something only he can hear. Tori shakes him from his trance, but the seed has been planted. The next morning, Brandon discovers something terrifying. When a lawnmower refuses to start, he hurls it across the yard with inhuman strength. Curious, he walks up to the spinning blades, presses his hand against them, and stops them cold, without a single scratch on his skin. The Breyers try to brush it off, but more signs follow. At a family outing in a diner, Brandon demands to keep a toy gun. Later, Kyle sees him chewing through a metal fork as if it were nothing. To distract him, Kyle takes his son hunting, hoping to teach him responsibility. But Brandon is restless. At night, he creeps to Caitlin's window, lurking in the dark as she sits at her computer. She feels a presence watching her. Her heart pounds. When she tells her mother, the woman who works at the diner, she barely believes her. But Caitlin knows something isn't right. At school, Brandon's drawings turn strange and disturbing, filled with cryptic symbols. Chickens on the Breyer farm are mysteriously slaughtered, doors ripped off their hinges, locks broken. Kyle is certain no wolf could do this. It had to be Brandon. And then comes the moment that changes everything. During a trust fall exercise at school, Caitlin refuses to catch him, calling him a creep. The coach orders her to help him up, but when Brandon grabs her hand, he squeezes until bones snap like twigs. Her scream echoes through the gym. In the principal's office, Caitlin's furious mother demands Brandon's arrest, but the sheriff insists it was an accident. Brandon sits quietly, but his eyes burn with hatred. That night, Tori discovers him levitating in the barn, chanting in the alien tongue. When she reaches for him, he falls and cuts himself on the ship's jagged edge. Blood flows, and for the first time, Brandon understands. This is where he came from. He is not of this world, and his parents have lied to him his entire life. Enraged, Brandon runs into the night, blasting beams of searing red light from his eyes. His humanity begins to slip away. Soon, Caitlin receives an unwelcome visit. Brandon appears in her room, insisting that she understands how special he is. But when she tells him her mother doesn't want them speaking, Brandon whispers coldly, "I'll take care of that." That night, Caitlin's mother closes the diner alone. Strange symbols appear on the glass. The lights flicker, windows explode, shards slicing through her face. In terror, she locks herself inside the freezer, but a beam of heat carves through the steel. Brandon rips the door from its frame, steps inside, and lunges. By morning, she's gone. Only blood and Brandon's ominous mark remain. His Aunt Marilee, who also happens to be his school counselor, tries to reach him, but he only grows colder, more detached. That evening, Brandon warns her not to talk to the police. When she refuses, he stalks her house. Her husband, Noah, finds Brandon hiding in a closet and tries to drive him home. But on the road, the truck malfunctions. Brandon appears in the headlights. With supernatural strength, he lifts the vehicle into the air and slams it down, crushing Noah inside. As Noah lies broken, Brandon kneels and calmly draws his strange alien symbol in blood. Back home, Brandon shrugs it off as if nothing happened. He even claims his torn, blood-stained clothes came from playing soccer. Kyle, however, isn't convinced. He begins to fear the truth. Their son is a monster. The sheriff investigates Noah's death, connecting the mysterious symbol to the diner. Tori refuses to believe it, but Kyle cannot ignore the blood-stained shirt he found hidden in Brandon's room. And so he makes a decision. He takes Brandon on a hunting trip, a father and son walking deep into the woods. When Brandon looks away, Kyle raises his rifle. The shot echoes through the trees. The bullet bounces harmlessly off his son's skull. Brandon turns slowly, his eyes glowing with shock and fury. In that moment, the father realizes he has made a fatal mistake. Brandon tears through the trees faster than the eye can follow and slams into Kyle with unstoppable force. Kyle begs, apologizes, pleads for mercy, but there is none. Brandon's laser vision pierces straight through his father's skull. Back at the farm, Tori's phone rings. She hears her son's voice on the other end, calm, chilling. "He's gone. I'm coming home." Moments later, Brandon tears through the farmhouse like a living storm. Walls crumble, furniture splinters, windows shatter. Tori calls for help, but the line goes dead. The sheriff and his deputy arrive, only to be slaughtered. Brandon rips the sheriff apart in front of his mother. The deputy falls next. Tori flees into the night, injured and terrified, dragging herself to the barn. There she finds the wreckage of the ship, jagged and glowing. She remembers the shard that once cut Brandon's flesh, her only hope. She clutches it tight. Brandon arrives. His hood covers his face, his eyes glowing red. Tori speaks softly, begging him to remember who he truly is. She pulls down his hood, caresses his cheek, and whispers her love. For a moment, Brandon seems like her little boy again. They embrace. She raises the shard, ready to strike, but Brandon catches her hand effortlessly. His voice trembles with rage. He knocks the weapon away, lifts her high into the air, and rockets into the night sky. The ground becomes a blur far below. Tori clings to him, begging, crying, but Brandon lets go. She plummets. Moments later, an airplane hurtles toward him. Brandon shifts casually, positioning the jet toward the farmhouse. The next day, debris litters the countryside. News reports claim a tragic accident. A plane crash destroyed the Breyer farm, killing everyone inside, including Kyle and Tori. But among the wreckage sits Brandon, quietly eating a cookie, his face blank, his innocence a mask. And then the world burns, cities fall, millions perish. The child who was supposed to be a savior has become something far worse. The world now knows the name Brandon Breyer. Now pause for a second. If you discovered your child had powers beyond imagination, but used them for destruction instead of good, what would you do? Would you still protect them, or would you stop them at any cost? Tell me in the comments below. And that's the chilling story of Brightburn, a tale that asks the ultimate what if. If you enjoyed this dark recap, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic movie breakdowns. Until next time, keep watching the skies.